So as we are in fact learning the Tikunei Zohar during the month of Elul, and we're now on the 24th day of Elul, we have a few more days to learn the Tikunei Zohar before Shabbos, and then getting into Erev Rosh Hashanah. So what's going to happen over there, I don't know. I just want to show you the front of the book. Again, everybody really should be buying these books. There's not a lot of people that can work with this material or looking at the material. So it's for the special. If you're interested and you're capable, you should get it. Keep the publishers, the printers, all of that are producing these things going. So let me open it up to where we are here, right? There's one little phrase he has here I just wanted to go over because it's a lead up. He says, "Hakeser v'hakavod l'chai olamim, l'chai olamim." Now over here where we have been learning, and I'm going to try to zero in on it a little bit better. Excuse me while I mess this up. Here we go. I've got a little problem with the wires, but hey. So here's where we were yesterday, and we're going to pick up a new Inyan. So it said that the tzaddik yesod olam. Here's the phrase tzaddik yesod olam. Now the concept of tzaddik is the same thing, is another word for the word yesod. We have been talking here about the Yesod of Olam HaBriya, which is actually stamped with the impression of Atzilus because it is called the Kisei, the parts of the Kisei, or the Olam of the Kisei, the throne. Was why? Because the Malchus of Atzilus rests within this Kisei, this concept. So that was talking about this, and we've been talking about the Yesodas of the same. That is in all the parts Sufi, the concept of the flow of the parts from the very top of the Kesser, Rokenberg, all the way through all of the spirals, down to the Yesod, which is the font from which all of the Shefer from up above is able to come into Malchus, which is able to digest it. And as we said in a couple of Shiurim already today, but I'm trying to reinforce the thought in my mind, is that Malchus is the concept of counts. So that when you're counting and doing gematrias, you're dealing with the Malchus Dika part of it. You're going into a certain element of it, and it goes into that. So now we're talking about this concept of Yesod. So he said, and it was related to the word Rakia, which he said is to tell you that the word Rakia is also the same letters as the word Iker. So this is a place we want to point ourselves to. What's the ultimate point is to deliver the Shepherd down below. Who's the delivery? Where does it come from? It comes from Yesod. So now here's where we're at now, and I'll just read a little portion of this. It says Al Tzaddik de La'ela. So we're talking about the upper Tzaddik. Who's the upper Tzaddik? It usually means Olam Atzilus. The Kaima Alma de Iskasia. So on the basis of that Tzaddik, this is the world, the covered up world lives through this. Al tzaddik the tata kaima alma de isgalia. There you have the tzaddik. There's a tzaddik up above which is hidden away because it's tremendous pneumius. This is my thinking before reading the Pirush. And he says that the tzaddik that the kaima alma de isgalia. Then there's another tzaddik, a tzaddik down below in a lower level. That is where there's more revelation. Revelation means, or manifestation of what came from up above, means it's more physical. So it's more perceivable. So let's go over here and let's see what we want to say now. Number test vav. So let me bring this down because I'll line myself up a little bit better because it's small print. It could even be smaller. Let's go like that. So he says, after we've spoken about Yesod, Shuha Iker isn't really the main thing. He said it's Rakia, Iker, by Yesod should be called Olam Kedechsev, and the world, the Yesod of every Olam. That is, starting from Atzila, of all of Abiyah, Atzila's Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah. All of this, the Yesodos actually are in the same function. Olam Kesib, the Tzaddik Yesod Olam. This is the foundation of whatever it is. It's the base of every Olam. Yavar Sheyeshnam Beit Tzaddikim. But here we're going to explain that there are actually two Tzaddikim. Base Bechinas Yesod, two different aspects of Yesod. The Hainu Yesod, the Abba Yesod, the Zah. That is, there's the Yesod of Abba and the Yesod the Zah. V'Taluyim Behem Base Olamos, and there are two different worlds or universes that depend on these two different Yesodos. Shehem Bebeis Bechinas Nukva, which are the female aspects that go along with it, Bina of Racha. Now, this is a whole lot of ideas here. Look at the Shemifarish B'Holach, as we're going to explain as we go along. Let's look into it a little bit more. Now, there was a little kaf tes on this. It says like this, the kaf tes. Let me see if I can get this lined up. Look at it. It says, kaf tes says, and this went on the phrase of the two women. One is Bina, which is Ima, and the other is Rachel, which is Malchus. So he says, Kain Pirish Kise Melech, Amnam, Haber L'chai Rawi Pirish as Beis HaBechinos. He explains these two Bechinos, Tzadik Eloah, but Tzadik Tetor, that there's two different Tzadiks. It means different Yesodos. Al Beis Bechinos of Yesodos, Sheyesh B'Zer Anpin. What are the two Yesodos of Zer Anpin? So he says Yesod are Ikri. So the real root Yesod, Shezivugo im Rachel, is the Yichud with Rachel. B'Bechin Yesod Shetiferes, and there's another one, Shezivug im Leah, with Leah. Now, how that works out has to be explained. Kiyesh Beis Mini Zivugim Shezer Anpin Mizdabek im Shneihem. So there are two different kinds of Zivugim that Zer Anpin has with his two wives. One Rachel, one Leah. So let's see. Well, it got real deep right away. So let's see what else it says. So he said about Leah im Rachel. So he said Bechinos Yesod Shabo. That is that he has two aspects of Yesod. He said Kizer Anpin Yesh Lo Bechinos Yesod Gam B'Tiferes Shalo. He has a Yesod that's also located in his Tiferes. What does that mean? Tiferes is the body of Zer Anpin, and the bottom of Tiferes is Yesod. So why would he have a Tiferes for, Yesod for Tiferes and a Yesod for Yesod? How does that work out? So Asher Bom is Daveg im Leah, because that second one, that is the Yesod of Tiferes, has a Yichud with Leah. Where does that Yichud take place? It takes place when the Chaza Lamala Bebechinas Yesod the Gomor, which is the side of a complete Yesod. Shalo, whom is Daveg im Rachel. So let me read it again. So he says there's a yichud that takes place between Yaakov and Leah, above the chaza, min chaza lamal. Then there's another one, which is the bechinas of Yesod, a Gomor. So this is the total is Yesod. Shalo, whom is Daveg im Rachel. Ad kan. Now who is saying this? The Kisei Melech. Okay, Kisei Melech, a big pirish on the Zohar. So he says, one second. So the pirish goes on and it says, the Mekorah, the basic root of this idea is in the Eitz Chaim. He says, where? In the Shar Leah Barachel Perik Taz. Sham Nizboyer Inyan, so there explains this Inyan, but so Moshe Ish Elokim. What does that mean? He says, Mechetzil V'Lamalo Elokim and Mechetzil Lamata Ish. So this is the Zohar, this is not the Zohar, this is the Rav over there in the Eitz Chaim. I'm not sure what that meant. Let's see if he explains it. He says, Shom Nizbar Ha'inyan B'Sod Moshe Ish Elokim. Mechetzil Lamalo, he's a Ish Elokim. Mechetzil Lamata, he's just called an Ish. Ein Sham. So you could say the same thing like this. Tzadik de la'ela, when he talks about the other tzaddik, the upper tzaddik, right? Who Yesod Shabbat Shemizdavekis Sham Im Leah, because this is the Yesod of Tiferes that has a yichud there above the chaza with Leah. Al Yidez, and through this, Kaima Alma Deskazia, it sustains the world that is hidden, the hidden world. Shehi Leah, which is Leah. Leah is Biskasia also. So Nikras Alma Biskasia. She's called the hidden world. He omedet b'makom oros amachusin. We explained this in the last year that the Yesod of Ima extends itself all the way down to the bottom of the chaz of the Zer Anpin, and there is an opening, just like a Yesod, we have an opening that pours out Shefa, the Chasadim and the Geburos into Zer Anpin. And at that place, at that very same place on the back of Zer Anpin, is where Rachel is located. So this is a great shefa that's coming through that. On the other hand, that's below, that's from the chest going downwards. But on the other hand, what's happening in the chest going upwards? The chest going upwards then, Anikras Alma Deskasya, he omitted b'makom ha'oros and b'chusa, because there's no opening from the chest going upward, there's no opening, the opening is at the chest. So therefore, when the opening is at the chest, everything is falling down. It's a little gravitational here because it's heading for mountains. So he says, "B'makom ha'oros ha'mekusim shall yisod de'ima k'yidu." So like later on, and we're going to have an aura coming up. He says, "Ki iker kiyumoku hazivu." The main way that things are, life is given to them, is from yichud. We understand that's the way it goes with human beings. The same thing. But there's also, that's the tzaddik up above. So that's a tzaddik that works in a hidden place. Shall Yesod ikri imrach. So that the Yesod at the bottom of Zeranpin, that's the Yesod, which is the root one, that goes along with Rachel. But tzaddik the tata shuhu Yesod, the gomor the Zeranpin, there's really what we consider to be the Yesod of Zeranpin, kaima alma the Izgalia. This is where the world that is revealed, the manifest world, more physical, comes out. This kayemis Rachel, so the Yosef Rachel, as a result of this yichud, is able to sustain herself. By Yedecha bezivug zebet, through the zivug, he mekabela shefa v'hachyusa v'hachyusa adkan. She receives all that. Now, what I'm still missing is which I've seen in some places, and we'll probably see it again. What I'm really missing over here is the understanding of how it is that the yichud takes place between Yaakov and Rachel above the Chaza. We saw that in the Yahor a little bit, but there's a lot more to be seen as well. Now let's read on here, because we have like 3 minutes. So let's read on here from where we stopped. And he says, Al Tzadik de La'elu. Now, here's another definition of Tzadik de La'elu. Ayedecha b'zivug Yesod ha'elyon de Abba. That is the Yesod that takes place between Abba ve'ima. That's that Yesod. Kaima alma de Iskasya. That Yesod that takes place between Abba ve'ima. It sustains the world that is closed. That is the area from the Chaza Lamala. Miskayemes anukva shalo bina. So this also sustains his nukva, which is bina. Hakruya alma de Iskasya, which is called by the name of the closed or the sealed world. Val tzadik de l'sada, but then there's another Yesod, the tzadik that's down below. By Yedei zivug Yesod, the tachton de Zeranpin. Kaima alma de Iskalia. There you see that is able to sustain itself. The world that can be seen, that is more physical and more manifest and perceivable. Miskayemes nukva shalo Rachel. This sustains Rachel. So he says, Akuya Alma de Isgalia, which is called by that name, the world of revealed. And we're going to stop right then, and we're going to start the next one next time with God's help, and we'll get more into these words. These are actually the words of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Not somebody talking about Rabbi Shimon, but actually the words of Rabbi Shimon. And then we have the Pirush, which tells us to be able to understand what's playing. This is Baruch Fleischman. I'm at the Tikunei elevator call, wishing everyone the very best.